right, so welcome. Today I have Chris with me from Assiniboine Community College. Welcome, Chris.
Hi there, Pat.
And so I have a number of questions for you, and I'm going to just dive right in with a big question here. A recent 2019 Manitoba First Nations report indicated about half of all our participating high school students want to attend a post-secondary institution, but the reality is only about 10% of these students actually end up going to a post-secondary institution. So what are you doing, Chris, at Assiniboine Community College, to help bridge this gap?
It's a great question, Brett, and I would say that there's a few different ways we could answer that. But directly, we have started to run some access programs in community, and they vary in length and scope, but they all have one thing in common, and that's to prepare our First Nation students who've been on reserve and have not experienced a post-secondary experience transition to college and post-secondary. And so it's like a readiness program, and we've run these. We've run one in Sandy Bay, and we've run another one. We're running one right now in Pine Creek, and there are plans to run another in a reserve in proximity here to Brandon. So we're hoping to continue to build on that. It's a successful program, and the students that run through that program also often go on to post-secondary, either at ACC or at a university or at another college or institution in the province. So that's one of the ways directly that we're helping bridge the gap. The other one is, we get out to high schools and we meet with students. Our recruitment team gets out to community and introduces students to different programs and what to expect in post-secondary. And we meet regularly with sponsors and counselors to keep them updated on our programs and what we're seeing when students come, and then it's a reciprocal relationship. So sponsors and counselors let us know what their students are looking for and what they're facing, and we want to make sure that when a student comes to ACC that they're ready to go, right? And there's no sense coming to college if you're not prepared and don't know what to expect, or if you don't have the skills required to be successful and to graduate. And so we do everything we can to ensure that students have that opportunity.
Well, thanks, Chris. And I know that Assiniboine Community College does do a lot, and I really like to hear some of the services that you guys are providing to just prepare students, get them ready, so when they're there, there is as little surprise and as little culture shock as can be, even though there still will be some. That's just the nature of the game, but to be prepared ahead of time as much as possible is fabulous. All right, moving on to the next question. What are some of the campus services available specifically for First Nation students at Assiniboine Community College?
Those services that are available exclusively to First Nation students, it would likely be the one-on-one relationship and the one-on-one support that they can receive through our cultural services at Indigenous Affairs. So we have an Indigenous Student Success Advisor and an Indigenous Services Officer. And we also have our visiting elders and our visiting knowledge keepers who attend regularly in class or at the lunch hour to meet with students. And so it's mostly First Nation, Métis, or Inuit students that would attend those, but they are available to all. And we also have a peer mentorship program, and that peer mentorship program has been running for a couple of years, and that connects students to second year students, right? So it connects new students to second year students or third year students who've been around the block a couple times and know what to expect, and they sort of act as cheerleaders and brokers to a lot of the other services that are on campus. If I were to expand that, there's the supports that are available to all students. There's our learning curve and our learning commons, our library. which has a plethora of supports, learning strategists there. The instructors are great supports. And the student success advisors, really, for each program and department. It's important to establish a relationship with your student success advisor very early, even before you come to college or come to post-secondary, because they have just a wealth of knowledge on time management, budgeting, academic skills, how to prep for an exam, how to write a paper, how to source, how to how to communicate, right? So they really have a lot of tools and strategies and tips available to students.
Nice, and that's a great segue into the next question, which you kind of touched on a little bit, but I'm going to ask anyway. What is campus life like for a first-year student?
I mean, obviously, right now it's a little different than it has been in the past, and we are currently in a 50% in person, 50% online. So it's kind of a hybrid model of delivering programs right now, but hopefully in the fall, or if not in the fall, soon thereafter, we'll be back to regular classes, right? And so it really depends where you're coming from. For some, like you said, it can be quite the culture shock, right? To come to ACC from, a northern community, or, even if you've never really left home and you're coming to a city for the first time, there's lots to get used to, right? But there are lots of students in the hallways. There's lots of there's a cafeteria, right? There's a library. There are classes. We have two different campuses, one at the North Hill and one at the Victoria Avenue East campus. That's in Brandon, and then we also have a Dauphin campus and a Winnipeg campus. The class sizes are pretty small, and so you in college you really get to know your instructor and the students that you'll be attending, right? And then there's all sorts of opportunities to connect with other students, right, and to engage in some extracurricular activities, right, which I highly recommend. It's important for students not just to to be in class and have their heads down, but to actually enjoy their time at college, right? You really a lot is expected from learners, especially if you're coming from high school to post-secondary. They expect a little more independence than what you might be accustomed to. And they also really want you to become help seekers, right? And because that's what a lot of us do at the college, right? Is we're there to support you, and I mean, instructors too, right? Now, they're not only teaching the class, but they're helping. They want to make sure that you're learning what they're teaching, right? And so it's important to just connect, reach out for help, have some have a team, the team of supports that are there to assist you in planning and organizing your day and your structures and your timetables, and just so you're well prepared for the months ahead. So that the best advice I can give somebody is to connect with us, anybody from the college, early and often, and keep that line of communication open. And you'll likely have a really fantastic experience in your first year.
Yeah, and I like to hear that there's more than one campus available. You don't just have to come to Winnipeg to go to school, which is nice to hear.
Yeah, well, and Brent, we offer a lot of community-based programs too. Like, we're really one of the leading institutions for that. We run programs from anywhere between 300 to 500 students annually in community, right? And that's anything from trades to counseling to practical nursing. Um, the list is endless, and it really depends on the need of the community. But we really find that a lot of students are successful if they are able to stay home, because a lot of the supports that they have are in community, and it's just easier for them to make the adjustment to learning in a post-secondary experience versus coming to a new city without any of the supports that you might have had at home. So
Awesome. And this is something we've heard about in other videos as well, is get involved, students, get involved as much as possible in that first year.
yeah, we
Learning,
have a go ahead.
oh, I was just going to add that learning can and should be fun.
Absolutely, right? You're going to learn a lot about yourself. As much as you want to come and learn about a specific trade or program, or you want to educate yourself, you're also going to you know learn how to establish good professional relationships, and how to manage your time effectively, and how to but to also make sure that you're making friends, right? And that you're really enjoying this time, because once you're finished post-secondary, then you're on to the onto employment, right? And now you're working full time, right? So you want to give yourself a chance to really enjoy this and embrace it. And so the student association is very active at ACC. And we have a couple of Indigenous members on that student association this year, and they have an Indigenous student rep as well. So there's lots of opportunities to engage.
That's awesome. All right, I'm going to move on to the next question, Chris. If I live on a reserve or federal land, what kind of bursaries or funding would I have available to help with my tuition and living costs at ACC?
So this is a good question, Brent. It's hard to put all of the options on the table, but I would say that there are countless. Obviously, there's sponsorship that's available through your community, and that certainly varies from community to community based on the size and the number of people that are applying for that. So if you weren't successful in applying with your home community, then there's the Congress of Aboriginal Peoples, there's Manitoba Skills and Development. There's a list of bursaries and scholarships that are available, and any student that wanted access to that list just has to reach out to ACC, and we could, there's probably somebody that can help walk students through that, right? Because there's just so many there. There's, if you've ever been in care, so if you've ever spent any time in foster care, in your life, there's a tuition waiver program, so you can have your tuition, all the costs of your tuition covered for the year. And so there's really a host of different options available. And lastly, there's student loans, right? And with student loans, and I know a lot of our Indigenous learners will balk at taking out a loan. But we often recommend it sometimes as a bridging loan, when you're waiting for sponsorship to come in. And and even if you didn't use the whole loan, there's a lot of funding that's available through Manitoba Student Loans that are grants that are free, and you won't have to pay back. So just by applying, depending on your situation and your family size, you're going to access some free money to assist you on your post-secondary journey. So the best advice I can give, because it can be pretty daunting to sift through all the options, is to connect with somebody from ACC, and they can help walk you through that.
And maybe we could provide a link or contact name and number in the credits of this video.
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right, awesome. All right, so moving on to the next question. If I want to attend Assiniboine Community College, what kind of marks would I need to meet admission requirements? I know this question might be a little difficult because of the different areas and programs you have, but I'm going to throw it out there anyway.
Every program and every department have different requirements, depending on whether it's there are programs where there are limits to the amount of that can attend, and so there might be a waiting list. You might have to apply to get in. So you might be going up against others, so it's competitive entry, right? And in competitive entry, you're often going to need, slightly better marks. Certainly with practical nursing, as an example, you're going to need some sciences. All of this stuff is available on our webpage. More often than not, 99% of them would require your grade 12. But having said that, there are even opportunities for prior learning assessments, and also opportunities in some community-based programs for you to complete your grade 12 while you're attending and while you're entered into a program. So, it's really hard to say this is what you need. These are the kind of marks you would need in order to get in. It's so reliant on the program that you're applying for. And I'm just going to go back to what I had said with the last question. The best thing you can do is if you're interested in a program and you'd like to know what is required, reach out to somebody at the college, or go to our webpage and check out the program info sheet. Okay, so right now we're in the program search area, and I just clicked off trades because I knew you were going to ask me about trades. Maybe we can talk about that now, right? There are 21 different trade programs, okay? And so you've got, agricultural equipment technician, carpenter, apprenticeship, construction electrician, heavy equipment operator. So there's so many to choose from there, right? If we click on, let's say, industrial metals fabrication, it gives an overview, okay? And so this is an 11-month program. It's a certificate program. And then if you go to the program info sheet down here, just click on that. So here's the program information sheet, and it gives you some ideas on what to expect there: heavy hitting skills, crafting your career, drilling down, and then admission requirements. So here is a complete Manitoba grade 12 or equivalent, and then consumer essential mathematics 40S or equivalent with a minimum mark of 60. Okay. So you're going to find that your admission requirements on every program info sheet. And so you just choose the program that you're interested in, and open it up, have a look at the overview, and then just click on the program info sheet down here.
Yeah, I like how everything's broken down on one page. It's very concise and not cumbersome to leaf through multiple pages just for one program.
Exactly. So those sheets are available. The program info sheets and program overviews are available online at assiniboine.net, and you just click on assiniboine.net and then programs, and have some fun. Go have a look and see what we've got available, and see if something really interests you. And if you get that far, then I highly recommend, like I said, that you connect with somebody from the college to help walk you through the rest of the way. So we also run recruitment info sessions specific to Indigenous learners, the First Nation, Métis, Inuit learners. We run this in tandem. Our department, Indigenous Affairs, run those in tandem with our recruitment team. And so the students would have an opportunity to get to know us, right? I often attend those as the Director of Indigenous Education, and our Indigenous Services Officer, Crystal Bunn, and our Student Success Advisor, Cecil Roulette, will often attend as well. And so we provide a general overview of campus life, that little what to expect when you're expecting, provide students a checklist of what they really need to have in place before first day of classes, and then extend that olive branch and that opportunity to connect and establish that relationship to talk a little bit further in more detail, right? Sometimes those info sessions can get pretty intimate depending on the number of students, and so there's an opportunity for question and answer as well. So those recruitment info sessions run probably either every 4 to 6 weeks, I would say, and they ramp up a little bit as we're getting closer to this, the start of school or nearing an end date for enrollment. And we send those out to all our partners. So sure, Brent, we'll let you know the next time we're having an info session, and maybe you can send that out to all your students.
Oh yeah, for sure. That'd be great. And I feel that the Assiniboine Community College does so much to help just Indigenous students and students in general to feel more comfortable, not just at the beginning, but even before they get to campus, as well as on campus, and even probably post services after campus.
Yeah, Brent, thanks for bringing that up, because for a lot of students, and if they're like me, I did not want to even think about school until my first day of classes. When I got out of high school, I was like, giddy up, I'm gonna have a great summer. I'm enrolled in university and I'll get there. I did not attend orientation, right? I got there a couple days late. I basically blew my first year, right? Because I did nothing on time. I had nothing ready to go, and I really wasn't thinking about school soon enough, right? And so I invite students not to make the same mistakes I did, and and to find balance early, right? You can still enjoy that summer. You can still enjoy your summers, but prepare yourself for that first day of classes, and we're here to help you with that, right? So if you connect with one of our supports, either your student success advisor or our department or somebody from recruitment, like early in May or June, by the time you get to first day in September, and now there are programs that start at different times of the year, but in general, most will start in September. You're going to have all your books ready. You're going to know what to expect. Somebody's going to giving you the bus route if you needed it. You'll know how to get to campus. We'd probably give you a campus tour, right? If you needed daycare, if you needed housing, if you needed help with budgeting, if you wanted to get to know some other students, right? Like there's so many things that we can help you with so that when you get there on the first day, you're there to learn. You're not worried about your money coming in. You're not worried about finding a house because you just came into Brandon the night before and you don't have a place yet. You're trying to figure out daycare for your kids, and every daycare is full, and that's a nightmare situation, right? And believe me, students experience that every year at every institution, and the support team is there to try and help students navigate that as best they can. But it's so much easier to do if we've got the time available, right? So just connect as the sooner the better, because it'll be so much easier to help you, and you'll really be thankful in your first day of classes if you do that.
I feel we covered this next question already, but I'll ask it just in case there is anything that we might have missed. Are there accommodations specifically for Indigenous students living on campus, such as smudging, elder access, peer learning, Indigenous study groups, or anything of that nature?
All of that.
Yeah.
Yes. Smudging is available on campus. Indigenous, we have two cultural centers. Well, actually, we have several cultural centers, but we have one at the North Hill and one at the Vic Avenue East campus, and that's where you would meet Cecil, Crystal, and myself. We also will have a cultural teachings classroom available. And so there's a lot of different cultural spaces and supports available. And you'll definitely have an opportunity to connect with your culture and with cultural supports at the college, without question.
Yeah, awesome. And that probably goes without saying with regards to how you answered all the other questions. Okay, so moving on to the next question. After COVID-19, will your institution still provide online learning or distance education? So if I want to remain on my reserve and complete a diploma or certificate, is that going to be a possibility?
It'll largely depend on the program that you're interested in. And because there are certain trades and certain health human services programs, where you really like practicums and apprenticeships are important, right? And face-to-face learning and face-to-face like hands-on experience is important, right? And learn by doing is one of our mottos, and that's also rooted in an Indigenous worldview and perspective, right? Like to get your hands on things and figure things out. So we run a lot of programs in community already, and I think that that's the best thing that we can do. Is if you're not ready to leave home, if you prefer to learn from home, then check out and see what community-based programs we might be offering, or go to your sponsor or counselor and say, geez, I'd really like ACC to bring this program here. Can we make this happen? There's several students that are interested in that, and we would, we're always open to those ideas, right? That's often how programs end up happening. We don't bring a program to a community. Community says, we want this program, and then we figure out how to bring it to community, right? We're not an online institution, right? And so there's different there's a different type of learner that excels online, and there's a different type of pedagogy and curriculum that's available for online learning. But we have, like everybody, when we had to, pivot and uh, deal with an emergent situation, we found ways to do that, and students were able to, to graduate on time, and we continued to provide, a learning experience virtually. And so I would say it might be an option. Certainly, we already run some programs for, as distance programs, and it'll largely depend on, the nature of the learning experience, and just, how suitable that learning experience is to continue as in an online environment.
And sometimes there's just no ways around it, depending, like you said, what you're going to be learning, or if it's a skill or a trade. Um, it needs to be hands-on, because that's just the nature of employment and the job after graduation. Are there tutoring services available at ACC? And if so, are they included in my tuition?
So the answer to that was yes and no. Yes, there's tutoring available. No, it's not included in your tuition, because not everybody necessarily needs a tutor.
Right.
Some sponsoring organizations or funding organizations will cover tutoring, and so you might want to ask that of your sponsor or counselor, or whoever might be assisting you in funding. And then there might be some organizations that are offering tuition, tutoring for free. The Brandon Friendship Center right now is currently providing tutoring available to Indigenous learners free of charge right now, as an example. So there's definitely tutors available. There's also for free learning strategists available at the college. And so you just need to book a time to meet with our learning strategists who work out of our library. And you can spend some time with them, and they're free of charge. So different ways to access some of those supports. Sometimes the best learning support you can get is from some of your peers, right? And those in your class. We all have different gifts, right? And so some of us might be really good at taking notes. Some of us might be good with mnemonics and acronyms, things like that, ways to memorize things. Some of us might be creative thinkers, and if you get into a really good study group, you can all learn from each other, right? So it's much easier to get through your program by reaching out and asking for help. Tutors are one of those supports, but there are many other different ways that you can access those kinds of supports.
Oh, it's glad to hear that there are definitely options in that area. If I live on a reserve, how can I best explore my career or course options with ACC?
Well, I think we talked a little bit about that earlier. The first thing I would do is, check out our website, browse our website. We have an Indigenous resource guide that we send out to all sponsors and counselors, and we have a program view book that we send out that's available, I think, online as well. And then, check out the numbers and give us a call. Talk to the student success advisors from the various programs, or somebody from recruitment, or somebody from Indigenous Affairs, and we can help you with career exploration and program choice. So lots of different ways to do that.
Nice. Now, I'm going to throw out a few statistics for you. 26% of our First Nation students serving in Manitoba in June 2019 said they wanted a career in art, audio visual technology, and or communications after high school. What learning do you have available in these areas?
Yeah, we have communication technology programs. We have interactive media arts, which really touches on all of those all at the same time. And actually, we do have a lot of Indigenous learners that graduated from that successfully. Actually, one of our peer mentors last year graduated from interactive media arts, and then she was also chosen as one of the 2 valedictorians for the whole college. And
Nice.
so the IMA program, as it is more affectionately called, is certainly one of the programs that's available. But I would just check out the website, scroll through media, technology, computers, communication, you'll find various programs that touch on that for sure.
And again, in the same survey, 28% of our First Nation students in high school said they wanted a career in medical science and technology. And so what do you have available in these particular areas?
So I would say they're a little more they're somewhat more limited, but we have a medical admin program that I'm aware of, an office tech, which is, you know, in that field. So I would be scrolling into either our our human services or our business admin programs and taking a look at what they have. So you might be able to find something in there. Okay, Brent, so you were asking about medical
Sciences and just technology in general.
Okay, so well, here's communications, engineering technology, comprehensive healthcare aid. We've got medical administration, network administration technology. Practical nursing refresher. So there's, you know, like I said, I think you're looking at medical admin. That's likely the one most closely related to the one that you were asking about. But I would just browse, you know, these various programs and have a look and see if any of them, you know, are touching on what the learner was looking for. And you can use this area of interest piece to, you know, get it more specific or widen your view of the different programs that are available.
Nice. So yeah, it's good to see that there are definitely options in this area or in these areas. And I think the biggest options that you guys have at Assiniboine Community College, and you already alluded to this earlier, and 47% of our First Nation students surveyed said they want a job in the trades. And so for ACC, I think you showed a big list with regards to the trades.
Yeah, so one of the things that we're known for is our trade programming. We have the Len Evans Center for Trades and Technology. And so, you know, you've got many different apprenticeship opportunities: electrical, automotive, construction, carpentry, heavy duty equipment, plumbing, welding, woodworking, engineering, piping. So gas fitting, you really have a lot of different options available. And I know that they fill up, a lot of these do fill up pretty quickly. They're great hands-on learning experiences. You get to learn from those that are in the fields, and, you know, connecting you to, you know, employers out there for apprenticeships early and often, right? And there's a lot of employment opportunities available here. So we definitely well known for trades, no shortage of opportunities in this department.
So students, if you are interested at all in any of these that Chris is showing, go to ACC website. We'll provide the link below after the video, and start clicking on any one of these trades to explore more, and especially with regards to the admission deadlines, because like Chris said, they can fill up.
Yes, so there are admission deadlines, and then there are also, you know, sponsorship deadlines, right? And there's paper trails that are involved. So it's really important that you connect early, have somebody help walk you through all that, get conversations going between sponsors, students, and ACC to make sure that, you know, you're ready for your first day of classes, and that you're in the right program, right? That you're ready for a successful experience.
Awesome. So I want to thank you, Chris, for your time and going through all these questions in great detail. And hopefully, students, you get a little bit more flavor of what Assiniboine Community College is about. Please explore further, though, with regards to the links that we'll be providing below. So thanks again, Chris, for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for inviting me, and, you know, I hope that students actually, you know, got something from this conversation that you and I had. And, you know, I really want to get students thinking of themselves in post-secondary, right? They do belong in post-secondary. And we have a lot of successful graduates who are gainfully employed, and your experience will be a rewarding one if you reach out early, connect to supports. One last thing is that each of those programs will also run specific program information sessions. And so if a student was interested in, say, civil technology, they could put out a request for more information, and I'm sure recruitment would let them know of the next program info session that was occurring, and then they could attend that either virtually or in person. So hopefully we get to meet some students. Hopefully they continue with their education, because education is a key to a successful life and future, and we're here to help in any way we can.
Awesome. And on that note, stay tuned, students, for more videos to come.